Hello and welcome to this exercise session. This is designed for anyone who's 0 to 2 weeks postnatal. If you had a normal delivery, there's a very strong chance you would have had some stitches. Really, your stitches will all heal at a different rate. You will get there. At this point in these first 2 weeks, your stitches might be quite sore because as they're healing, they go through that inflammation stage. So you might feel there's a bit of tightness in your stitches, particularly if you had an episiotomy, because it's a straight line, so those stitches will heal, and they might just be a little bit tight for the first 2 weeks. So taking it very easy. It might seem strange to have a video for the first 2 weeks, but it's really because as well as going home and recovering, you're given the advice you can get back walking whenever you want to. So I want to make sure that when you are thinking about going back to exercise, that all the time you're thinking about recovery as well, thinking about your pelvic floor, and thinking about gentle mobility as you prepare to get back. So the first thing we're going to do today is talk about the pelvic floor. So the base of your core is your pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor will have had that injury if you have stitches. And even if you have an intact perineum and haven't had stitches at all, you'll still need that time to recover. So if you think of a sports injury, if it was your hamstring, you'd have pain, you'd have inflammation, you'd have sort of limping, anything like that would outwardly show signs of injury. When it's your pelvic floor, you still will have you'll have soreness, you'll have inflammation. And when it comes to loss of function, like the limping, when it comes to a leg injury, you may find that it's a little bit harder to control passage of urine, passage of feces, or wind. If you find that you're having a little bit of wind at the moment, don't worry about it. You're in that 0 to 2 weeks postnatal. There's so much recovery, so much healing going on. So the number one part of your exercise program will be to rest. If you're having symptoms of pressure or like that leakage or urgency, really recover. Take your time to your pelvic floor. And the first bit of advice I'll give you is to lie down in the middle of the day. So people who come to me have problems. And one of the things I would see is people telling me that they have pressure to their pelvic floor. And the first thing we'll do is try to get rid of that pressure. So any symptoms you have, you want to get rid of those symptoms. So if you have pain, we want to make the first priority to become pain-free. If you have pressure, we want to make the first priority to become pressure-free. And if that takes resting all day long, that's what it takes. Of course, we want to switch on the pelvic floor as well, make sure that it hasn't forgotten how to function, and we'll put a little bit of emphasis on that. We don't want to become stiff or sore from bending over, feeding baby, pushing buggy, lifting car seat, whatever chores you're doing. So we want to make sure that we prevent rounded shoulders, neck pain. Sometimes people complain of sore thumbs from feeding positions, whether it's holding the back of your baby's head for breastfeeding or whether it's holding the bottle, and you're doing lots and lots of that. So it becomes kind of like a repetitive strain injury along the side of the wrist through the thumbs. So other things, maybe that you're recovering from pelvic girdle dysfunction, any pregnancy related things, if you have coccyx pain, all of that, we can treat those in the first 2 weeks by taking it very, very easy. Okay, so I'm presuming you know a lot, you've read a lot, and you're here to get moving rather than listen to too much of me. So what we're going to do is just going to lie down. So you can do these couple of exercises lying on your bed, or you can do them lying in a mat in your living room or in your bedroom, or wherever you want to do. You can have a pillow behind your head just to support your neck so you're not tipped too far backwards. Okay, bring your hands onto your tummy, and we're just going to relax. So we're lengthening out through your shoulders, relaxing out through your pelvis, and just having your feet nice and hip distance apart. And we're going to start with our pelvic tilting. So you're going to roll back, lift your tailbone off the mat, and roll forwards. Roll back, lift your tailbone off the mat, and roll forwards. That's it. Rolling back, lift your tailbone off the mat and roll forward. So just pelvic tilting, getting that normal movement in your lower back, nice and relaxed. Now, if you do have pressure, or if you've previously had symptoms of a prolapse, or you feel that your insides are going to fall out, and that's something that people tell me sometimes, I want you to make sure that you throw a pillow under your pelvis. When we talk about lying down in the middle of the day, this would be a great opportunity to pop yourself upside down. So the ligaments of your uterus, your bladder, your back passage, all had a strain when you were pushing your baby out. So we want to make sure we offload them. If that means just tipping you upside down a little bit, go for it. You might just lie like that and pelvic tilt backwards and forwards in that little gravity assisted position, all the way backwards and forward. So pillow in or out, pillow under your head, whatever suits you. And now we're going to bring our feet together, knees together, and bring your arms out wide. Breathe in, and on the breath out, roll your knees to the side. Get a nice little stretch along between the ribs and your hip. Come back through the center and roll to the other side. Come back again and roll to the side and back over again and roll to the side. Make sure I'm videoing something, very important. Yeah, perfect. And again, roll to the side and over to the other side. Lovely. Bring your knees up to your chest and get a little stretch through your lower back. Take a breath in and breath out. Breathe in again and breath out. Stretch away one leg. So if you find one leg is enough at a time, go for it. Slide that leg away. Bring the other one up towards your chest. Perfect. And come back to the center, hands onto your tummy, roll back and roll forwards, all the way back and all the way forwards. Everyone's rate of recovery is going to be different, but that'll be how you feel. Your actual recovery is happening in the same amount of time. It's going to take 6 to 8 weeks for your full recovery, and it takes a lot longer for an even more entire recovery. So we want to make sure that you're doing it right and doing everything nice and gently. Hands down by your side. Breathe in. And on the breath out, just roll back. And if you feel comfortable, lift up your tailbone, lift up your spine, vertebra by vertebra, come right up to your shoulder blades. Hold there for breath in. And on the breath out, slowly roll down. And even better without the pillow, take a breath in. And on the breath out, roll back. So just visualizing your vertebrae like a string of beads, just coming up bead by bead. Come right up to your shoulder blades. Hold it there. And slowly roll down. Breathe in again. And breathe out, roll back, lifting right up. Hold it there and slowly roll down. Hands onto your pelvis, pelvic tilt backwards. You're lifting your tailbone off the mat, roll forwards and come into your halfway position. Okay, so you had all those weeks of pregnancy. Your diaphragm would have been pushed upwards by the weight of the baby and by your bump. So your diaphragm can kick out a little bit. So it's really important that we get back to our breathing and breathing well through the tummy using your diaphragm. So hands are on your tummy, shoulders nice and relaxed. Breathe in and try to feel your tummy rise. And breathe out, feel your tummy fall. So as you breathe in, your diaphragm lowers downwards. And that means our tummy should be running out of space. The tummy contents moving forwards and that moves upwards then as you breathe out. So breathe in, getting your air right down to your tummy. And we're not pelvic tilting at this point. We're staying in that halfway position and breathe out. So this might be very easy for some of you, but some of you might find that as you breathe in, your tummy muscles are sucking in, and as you breathe out, they're moving outwards. So that sometimes just takes a little bit of time to correct. So breathe in, feel your tummy rise. And breathe out, feel your tummy fall. Breathe in. And breathe out. So at the moment, your pelvic floor is weak. It's had that stretch. It's had that injury. We're just going to make sure that the nerve endings from your brain knows your pelvic floor, knows what it's going to do. And we just have to kind of wake it up a small bit. So we're going to do tiny pelvic floor squeezes. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, because your diaphragm and your pelvic floor move together, as you breathe in, they move downwards. As you breathe out, they move upwards. We try to contract that pelvic floor as you breathe out. So to contract your pelvic floor, you're squeezing up around your back passage and up around your front passage, like you're stopping yourself from breaking wind and stopping flow of urine. So I know that you won't feel too much in these first 2 weeks. Everybody will be different, but what we'll be doing is just trying to get 2 or 3 seconds of a squeeze and then feeling the release. So just feeling the squeeze and feeling the release. That's all we're looking for. We're not looking for major endurance. We're not looking for major power. We are just trying to wake them up. So gentle breath in. And then as you breathe out, so no pressure through the tummy, just a little squeeze up through your back passage and your front passage for 1, 2, and let it go. So might feel weak, might find it hard to catch on to, but don't worry, those signals are going to your brain, telling the muscles what to do, and it will come back, okay? So breathe in. Nice relaxed breath out, so make sure you don't squeeze through your tummy as you breathe out, pulling up through the back passage and the front passage. Hold, 2, 3, and let go. Lovely. Relax it all out. So making sure your pelvic floor isn't on high alert as well, that it knows how to relax. So when you release, it's like you're going to the loo, like you're breaking wind, nothing happening, nice and soft and relaxed. Breathe in and breathe out. Pull up through your back passage and your front passage. Hold for 3, 2, 1 and let it go. And what you might find as your squeeze gets stronger is that you feel a little bit of tension under your fingertips, under your deep tummy muscles. Breathe in and breathe out. Pull up, 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 up. Hold 2, 3 and release. Perfect. So let's go again. Nice and relaxed. Breathe in and breathe out. Pull up, 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 up and hold 2, 3 and release out your pelvic floor. Little pelvic tilt again, roll back and roll forwards, come into your halfway position. Now, a lot of people have concerns about diastasis recti. The most important thing to know about diastasis is that it occurs in almost 100% of women after they've had a baby. So if you're 0 to 2 weeks postnatal, there's a very, very strong chance you're going to have a diastasis. So when I used to work in the hospital, you could see some people's tummy muscles almost like a six-pack after the baby's born. Other people's tummy muscles really, really wide. And we used to call people back nearly all the time, that diastasis would have come right inwards by 8 to 10 weeks, okay? But they do say in the research that can take a year to 2 years for it to really, really strengthen up. So you're at the very, very early stages. So we're going to do a little tummy check, but really more for information. All of you, I would say when you're doing any lifting, bending, picking up, number one, try to avoid it. But if you do have to do it, you're just going to make sure that the load is light. When you're getting out of bed, rolling over onto your side, pushing up through your elbow and onto the other side. So all the time, treating yourself like you do have a diastasis, that your muscles are very, very weak. So a bit like the pelvic floor, they've been stretching and lengthening for 38 to 40 weeks, maybe more, maybe less, and they're not going to bounce back straight away. So they are weak. So it's a lot to ask of them to be able to sit up from bed in a full sit up like that. You're putting a lot of strain through them, and by increasing that pressure through your tummy, you're putting more strain to your pelvic floor. So treat yourself like you have everything, is my thoughts on the first 2 weeks, okay? So lie down, hands going across your tummy, shoulders relax, and you're just going to tuck in your chin, lift your head and shoulders a couple of inches off the mat and lower down. And all you're looking for is to feel the borders of the muscles, the rectus abdominis muscle that comes down side by side along the belly button. So when you put your fingers in like that, you should catch a little bit of pressure as you come in towards your fingers. So all you're really looking for is to see, do you feel the pressure of those tummy muscles? If you need to go wider, just bring your hands out and do a little sit up. When you feel that little bit of tension on your fingers, you get an idea of where the bellies of the muscle are. So technically we say diastasis recti is more than 2 fingers, but really in real life at this point, I don't mind. If you can feel a bit of inward movement, I think that's all you're looking for at this stage, okay? We're not going to be doing sit-ups, we're not going to be over training, but when you squeeze your pelvic floor, you're also activating your deep tummy muscles that are bringing your muscles in towards the center, and that's exactly what we want. So let's go back to pelvic floor, but bring that emphasis onto that feeling under your fingertips. So take a nice breath in, and breath out, pull up through your back passage and your front passage. Feel that gentle tension for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it go. Also feel that softening out. Breathe in again and breathe out. Pull up strong. So if it's better, you could visualize like a straw stuck up your bottom and that it's dipped in a glass of water, pulling up through that imaginary straw, holding it for 3 seconds and letting it go. Hands by your side. Breathe in, and on the breath out, roll back, lifting up into your bridge, getting that nice bit of movement in your lower back, slowly rolling down. Perfect. We're going to come over onto our side, reaching both arms together. Breathe in, and on the breath out, lift up the top arm and open out your chest. So really good for any of those rounded shoulders that are building up during the pregnancy or now in that postnatal period when you've just been doing so much feeding, so many sleepless nights. You may be exhausted, but you will feel better if you open out your chest and take a nice big breath right down to your ribs. And breathe out, breathe in again. And breathe out, come back to the center, breathe in. And breathe out, lift up, opening out your chest. Hold there for breath in. And on the breath out, come back to the center. Breathe in again. And breathe out, lift up, reach all the way back. Holding it there. And come back to the center. Bring your hand onto your pelvis. You might be really excited to get your muscles working. So just keeping your ankles, hips, shoulders in line. You might have done these in antenatal Pilates classes or in some strengthening drills you might have been doing. Really good to get these rotators kicked in and opening up through your pelvis. So even to release the pelvic floor, we're lifting the knee and coming down, just switching on those glutes. Like I said, we're not looking for a strengthening effect today. We're just making sure that you don't lose the gains you had. A lot of, our exercise guidelines tell us, look, you can exercise during pregnancy. It's great. It's wonderful. But we've very little to tell us we can exercise in those 0 to 6 weeks. So nice to be able to switch them on and get ready for the 6 weeks postnatal. We don't want to be exercising too much because we want to let recovery be the priority. But of course you can do a little bit. Lovely. Give your muscles a nice little pump. And we're just going to come over to the other side. Hands reaching forwards. Knees bent. Take a breath in. And on the breath out, lift up. Open out your arm. Reach right back. Get a nice stretch through your chest. Take a big breath in and out. And in and out again. And one more. Come back to the center. Breathe in again. And breathe out, reach right back. So important that you feel really comfortable doing these exercises. Breathe in and out, and breathe in and out again. Come back to the center. One more. Breathe in and breathe out. Reach right back. Open out through your chest. Breathe in and out. Breathe in again and come back to the center. Bring your hand onto your pelvis, ankles, hips, shoulders in line, and let's go again. Just waking up those rotators, lifting and lowering. Okay, so you probably know a little bit about the degrees of tearing that you can have in your perineum. So you can have an intact perineum where you've had no stitches at all. First degree tear where you may have just had stitches along the skin only. Second degree tear would be underlying muscle, and third degree tear would be kind of underlying muscle and then an extension back towards the back passage. So hopefully you know, if you have had a third degree tear, you'll definitely be followed up by the hospital. An episiotomy then is a bit like the equivalent of a second degree tear, but it's like a man-made tear. So basically, when your baby's head is crowning, the doctors or the gynaes or the midwives make a decision that maybe you need a bit of help to release that baby's head, and the stitches, the line, the little cut kind of along mostly the right side, because most doctors will be right-handed, and it just comes away from the midline and it prevents those more serious tears. They're not done routinely, so they're usually made with good decision making, and they're usually made for good reason. So don't worry if you had an episiotomy. It will heal. Sometimes it can be a little bit tighter at the beginning, but you will get there. And lower down, give your muscles a nice little thump. And we're just going to bring in one more exercise. So come on to all fours. Wrists under elbows, elbows under shoulders. Little pelvic tilt. So round your back and arch. Okay, so if you're feeling pressure lower down, you mightn't like that feeling of arch. And if you don't, just stay out of it. Just round your back and flatten. Okay, so rounding it up and arching down. Good stuff. And round up. And this is a nice position to exercise in, you know, because it just keeps your perineum off the mat and it offloads. And a nice thing to do as well, if your perineum or your stitches are sore, is just lie in your bed, take off your bottom half, throw a towel over your front, even after a nice shower, and just let the air get it and just take all the pressure off it. Okay, make sure you wear loose fitting clothes. Don't try to get into jeans or tight leggings. Just make sure you really keep everything very comfortable. Sit back on your heels, stretch through your arms, take a big breath in and out, and breath in and out. Walk your hands over the right side, left hand overlapping right. Breathe in and out. Breathe in again and out. Walk your hands to the left side, right hand overlapping left. Breathe in and out. Breathe in again and out, back onto all fours. And when you're doing this exercise as well, remembering it's just bringing in that bit of strength to your tummy. So drawing your belly button up towards your spine and arch down, come into your halfway position. It's another position for doing pelvic floor exercises. So if you want to take a breath in and breathe out, just pulling up through your back passage, and 3, 2, 1, let it go. Okay, just sitting down onto your mat or onto your bed, wherever you are. Drop one arm down, side bend up and over. So really good exercise if you also have toddlers. I hope you managed to get to the end of this video without being distracted by toddler or baby, and over to the other side. Okay, so really these drills are covering plenty of movement for those first 2 weeks. Like I said, the emphasis is on sleep, on rest, on good diet, plenty of water, and using all the help that you can get. And if part of that is that, you know, you like to exercise and you really need this time away, make sure you carve it out. Just try and find this 10 minutes to do a few movementy exercises, give your shoulders a roll, but all the time the emphasis is on no pressure. I can't say that enough. Reach forwards. The reason I put this videos together is because a lot of people do ask, what can you do in the first 2 weeks? And I know you'll get a leaflet, you get advice from the physiotherapist in the hospital. Sometimes it's hard to put it into practice, so if videos help, just a nice way of being told what to do. So reach forward, stretching between your shoulder blades, reach up, and just do a little bit of reaching, one arm up, then the other arm up, reach up and up. Bring your arms down. Okay, I hope you feel good after that. I'll see you back for your 2 to 4 weeks postnatal exercises. And if you get a chance, try to do these every second day, twice a week, once a week, whatever works. But it is enough, this and a little bit of walking, and you will recover well. Okay, thanks a million. Bye-bye.